On March 31st, 2026, a $380 billion company, a company built entirely on this, massive promise of safety-first AI, basically left the master keys to its kingdom sitting on the public internet.
Yeah, and we're not talking about some sophisticated, state-sponsored hack here. No zero-day exploits.
Right. No digital heist movie.
Exactly. It was a single missing line of text in the configuration file. That's it.
Yeah.
That one typo bypassed every vault door they had and exposed the entire architecture of the world's most advanced AI coding agent.
It is staggering. We're looking at a deployment failure so rudimentary that it almost defies belief. Over 500,000 lines of proprietary, unobfuscated code just laid completely bare.
Yeah. Anyone with a web browser could just download the exact blueprints of Anthropic's Claude Code.
Yeah.
They could dissect its vulnerabilities, figure out how it works, and just weaponize its internal architecture.
So today's deep dive is an urgent investigation into the anatomy of that mega leak. We are pulling data from threat intelligence reports by Zscaler's Threat Labs, cybersecurity analysis from Peligent, and deep technical breakdowns of the leaked source code itself.
And we really need to trace the blast radius here.
Right. Our mission is to understand how a simple packaging error triggered this immediate deployment of global malware, right? And we need to look at the deeply unsettling hidden features discovered inside this code base and what this catastrophic breach signals for you, the listener, and really the future of trust and autonomous software.
Because the scale of this exposure, to really grasp it, you have to understand what Claude Code actually is.
Yeah, break that down for us, because it's not just a chatbot, right?
No, not at all. I mean, for a listener who might only interact with AI through like a web browser, this is a very different beast. Claude Code is an agentic tool.
Agentic meaning it takes action.
Exactly. It lives directly inside a software developer's terminal. It actually has authorization to read entire code bases, edit local files, and execute system commands. It's the engine driving modern enterprise software development.
And in an instant, 1,906 files of its core logic just dropped from the sky.
Just out there for anyone to grab.
So the mechanism of how those files dropped, this is where the illusion of impenetrable cloud security completely shatters.
Oh, completely.
Anthropic was pushing version 2.1.88 of the Claude Code package to the NPM registry, which, for those who don't know, is the standard global pipeline for JavaScript distribution.
Right. It's how developers get their updates.
Yeah. But the engineering team had recently adopted a newer, faster runtime environment called Bun. And Bun is optimized for developer experience, meaning it automatically generates something called a source map by default to make debugging easier.
And that creation of the source map, that is the fatal misstep here.
Why is that so dangerous?
Well, when enterprise software is shipped to the public, the code is always minified.
Right.
It's systematically scrambled. Variables are renamed to single letters, formatting is completely destroyed, and it creates this dense, unreadable block of text.
So a machine can read it, but a human can't.
Exactly. The computer executes it perfectly, but a human competitor cannot reverse engineer the proprietary logic. But the source map is literally the cryptographic decoder ring.
Wow.
Yeah, it acts as an exact translation key. It maps that scrambled production code back into the developer's original, perfectly human-readable blueprint.
So generating that map file, I think it was called cli.js.map, that isn't inherently a breach, right? Provided you keep it strictly internal.
Right, you use it internally to debug. The catastrophic failure is that a human engineer simply forgot to add an exclusion rule.
They just missed putting an *map in their npm ignore file before hitting deploy.
Yeah, and because of that single missing asterisk, a 59.8 megabyte translation key was packaged into the public update.
It's just wild.
But the sheer negligence goes one layer deeper. This specific source map didn't just, translate the code. It contained hard-coded URLs pointing directly to a fully readable zip archive hosted on Anthropic's own Cloudflare R2 storage bucket.
Wait, so the whole thing was just sitting there?
It's right there. The entire unfiltered code base was totally unprotected at a public R2 dev web address.
So if you imagine designing the most impenetrable bank vault on Earth, right, sparing no expense on biometric scanners and titanium blast doors.
Yeah.
This is basically the equivalent of accidentally taping the master architectural schematics to the back of a public brochure sitting in the lobby.
That is exactly what happened. And the irony, it is difficult to overstate here. Anthropic's whole current marketing ethos is that AI is rapidly replacing human software engineers.
Right.
In fact, the head of the Claude Code project publicly admitted that 100% of his recent contributions to the tool were written by the AI itself.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. We have automated the complex, hyper-intelligent logic, but we are still relying on fragile, manual human processes for the final mile of deployment.
The most advanced AI coding agent on Earth couldn't catch the typo that exposed its own brain.
Right. And the exposure of those blueprints, it didn't just leak intellectual property, it fired a starting gun for global threat actors.
Yeah, the transition from an embarrassing corporate mistake to an active worldwide supply chain threat took, what, a matter of hours?
Barely. The code was immediately mirrored on GitHub and forked tens of thousands of times. I mean, we were seeing repositories hitting 50,000 to 84,000 stars at a breakneck pace.
Threat intelligence from Zscaler's threat labs actually tracked that immediate exploitation. Because threat actors, they are highly opportunistic, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And they knew tens of thousands of curious software engineers were actively searching for the leaked Anthropic code. So a specific actor operating under the handle idboom began deploying fake GitHub repositories explicitly labeled as the Claude Code leak.
And this is where it gets genuinely dangerous for everyday users. A developer thinks they are downloading a piece of tech history just to study it, but they're actually pulling a malicious zip file onto their workstation.
And we are not just talking about adware here.
No. They are downloading a Rust-based dropper named Claude Code _by64.exe.
And the payload inside that dropper is devastating.
Yeah, executing it infects the host system with VDAR v18.7.
Which is an info stealer, right?
Exactly. It's a highly aggressive information stealer designed to silently strip credentials, browser cookies, and crypto wallets. But honestly, more concerning for enterprise environments is the secondary payload, which is Ghost Socks.
OSOCs, network proxy malware. And I really want to emphasize why that is so dangerous for the listener.
Please do, because people underestimate this.
Ghost Socks doesn't just steal data, it turns a secure machine into a silent tunnel. If an engineer at a Fortune 500 company or a government agency downloads this fake repository, they have unknowingly converted their highly secured corporate laptop into an open proxy.
Yeah.
Threat actors can now route malicious traffic through that infected machine, completely bypassing the company's external firewalls.
The curious developer basically becomes a Trojan horse for their entire organization. But the immediate malware deployment, that's only the first wave of the fallout.
Right, because there's the code itself.
Exactly. The cybersecurity analysis from Penlegent points to a much more persistent systemic threat buried in the legitimate source code. Attackers now possess an unobstructed map of Claude's security boundaries.
We are talking about the exact logic defining how the AI determines what is safe to execute and what isn't. I mean, Anthropic has patched serious bugs in the past. There was CVE 2026-20-52, which could leak API keys before a user confirmed a trust prompt.
Oh, yeah.
And another one that allowed the bypass of untrusted system commands.
Right, and those specific bugs were patched. But the underlying architectural philosophy of the enforcement boundaries is now public knowledge.
They know how the vault works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Attackers don't have to guess how the vault alarm system is wired anymore.
Yeah.
They can read the exact functions that validate a command. They can see where the AI parses permissions, where it fails to sanitize inputs.
It's a roadmap.
A literal blueprint. It makes finding new, silent, zero-day vulnerabilities vastly easier.
So while the threat actors were digging for vulnerabilities, security researchers analyzing the exact same files found something entirely different and, frankly, deeply unsettling.
Yeah, this part is wild.
It really shatters Anthropic's public persona of transparency. I mean, this is the company that literally authored a 30-page policy on responsible AI. They posture as the adults in the room regarding AI safety.
And yet they were quietly building features explicitly designed to deceive.
Tell us about undercover mode.
So Codebase contains this 90-line script internally labeled Undercover Mode. And it's important to note this is not a feature the user toggles on.
It's hidden.
It activates automatically, specifically for Anthropic employees who are contributing to public open source projects.